Change is a scary thing for most, but it doesn't have to be. And our next guest has a new method to embrace change in your life and live without resistance. That just feels good saying that out loud. Joining us now in studio, please welcome to DBL speaker, author, and executive coach Christine Kahane.
Yeah! So, Christine, you've written a book about unlearning, and I understand something that we talked about in the last segment in terms of deep-seated betrayal has something to do with that, as well as is unlearning also unbreaking or breaking a bad habit?
Thank you for bringing that forward. It absolutely is not about, like, breaking bad habits. It's a whole other subject, but to address what unlearning really is and how deep-seated betrayal gets wrapped up into that is gaining an understanding of what change really is and what focus really is. So when we talk about change being scary, or we talk about being hard, or we talk about it taking a long time, those are conditioned, deep-seated belief systems that we have gotten ourselves locked into. And when we do, it's often because there's a deep-seated betrayal that has never been spoken or heard out loud. And we hold it in and we build these belief systems around it.
Oh, that's so interesting. I've never heard it that way.
That makes a lot of sense.
Let me ask you, your unlearning journey began in Africa. Talk to me about that. Paint that picture, because this was a story. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I had to be a deep-seated belief, and it was around a deep betrayal. And what it was only beautiful girls get the guy. Only beautiful girls get the part in the play. Only beautiful girls get to be popular or get the promotion. And I was facing, we were in that downturn in like 2008 and 9, and I could not get work in the United States. And so I got an offer to get a job in East Africa, in Dar es Salaam in Tanzania, and I leapt at it. It checked every box. So I was going to be important, and I was going to make a ton of money, and I was going to get points, and I was going to be living on per diem. I wasn't going to have to spend any money. I was going to make $1 million,
right?
And then I was going to retire to the Maldives, and to heck with America. I was never coming back because I was never beautiful enough in America to be successful.
Wow.
And what happened 4 years later, I came back to America with my dog under my arm and a suitcase. I had lost everything.
Wow.
And I, blessedly, my cousin said, come live in my basement, live with us for the rest of your life if you need to. And I sat there for a year writing everything that had happened to me in Africa.
Wow.
And I was in this space between the no longer and the not yet. I had lost my identity, I'd lost everything, all my earthly possessions. Like, I didn't know who I was. But I emerged from that year with this one thing. I knew that I wanted to live in a world that works for every living thing. And that's when I met Doug Krug, who is the father of enlightened leadership. He wrote the book on it 30 years ago. And we co-founded the Institute for Unlearning.
Wow. Okay, so speaking, and we only have a minute left. Okay. In your book, you talk about, by the way, you talk about the unlearning factor.
Yes.
Okay, so what is that, and how can the viewers apply that?
It's five simple questions. You can ask yourself in the mirror, you can talk to your family about it, you can talk to your PTA, you can talk to your nation using these 5 questions. 1, what's working best? So instead of starting about like what's broken and what do we need to fix, start with what's already working.
Right.
And then second question, ask what's causing it to work, right? So you really figure that out and then go back and say, okay, now that we know that, let's look at what's the mission, what's the goal, what's the dream, what's the longing that we want to address, and is it still relevant? And then from there, what are the benefits? And then from there, what can we do more of, better, differently to make it happen? And I think in this election year, those questions are relevant more than ever.
I agree. Thank you so much for joining us, Christine. DBL Nation, pick up your copy of Unlearning, Leading Change Without Resistance, available on Amazon now, and learn more about Christine at instituteforunlearning.com.